Alrighty folks, so I'm in the 89 CRX SI. Let me pull out so we can get some light. And what we are able to do is restore it out of storage. It was in storage for about 12 years. I'm going to roll up the window just in case here. But one of the things we did was start working on the suspension, and what I recently did was replaced the stock rear sway bar with an ST suspension rear sway bar. It's a lot thicker, it's heavier, and it's supposed to help with that roll that we get from our front wheel drive JDM cars. And what's interesting is I did not install it myself. That's why I don't have a video on the installation. I did not lift the car and go through all of that. Instead, I took it to my mechanic and he did it in like less than an hour. So what I want to talk about though is just the feeling of the car after the sway bar has been installed. And I know it's tough to convey the feeling of something, from a video, but I can talk a little bit about it as I'm driving it. And what's interesting is I've experienced this thing that a lot of people also say that they experience, and that is it almost feels like it goes faster. And that was the very first thing that I felt like after driving the car for a bit. I thought, oh, it feels like it's going faster. And it's not actually that it's faster, obviously. It's just a rear sway bar installation. Okay. You feel more confident taking the car through a turn, and it actually feels a lot more fun. It was fun before in the stock version, but now the rear just feels a little more planted, and it feels like you can just kind of throw that car through the curves a little bit. And I haven't done it just yet as I'm driving, but here I am. It's a little cobblestone street, a little bit of a European feel in San Francisco, which is kind of cool. But I'm going to try to take it through a turn so you get a sense of what that's like. Not like that, so let's keep going. Like I said, it feels a lot more planted as you take the car through a turn, and maybe because of that you get that sense of, I guess, that greater sense of inertia, that greater sense of speed. And I'm going to start from here. And there is where you feel like that's what I'm talking about. You feel like you can push through. You don't get that body roll. So, like, in the end, I think it was a great buy to get this rear sway bar. And it was relatively inexpensive, about $160 on Amazon. And I'll put a link in the description. And I think the next thing is to just continue to firm up the rear suspension. I'm not going to go into the shocks just yet. Maybe I'll change the lower control arms and go from there. But just, I just want to talk about just how fun and planted the car feels just from that one tweak. So, I'm really happy with the suspension. Oh, one more thing. My mechanic said that the suspension is actually adjustable, and he left it at kind of a middle of the road setting, so not too stiff. I guess that means that it could be stiffer, which is interesting because it does feel already pretty tight as I'm driving around. So that's kind of cool to know, and I think it's going to get even stiffer as I change the lower control arms and I do other things. So I don't think I need to adjust the rear sway bar, but there you have it, just kind of my opinion on that product. I'm actually very happy with it, highly recommend it. In the pictures it shows up as the color green, but actually when we got it, I think it was black. So I don't care. I really don't care about the color myself. So it doesn't matter to me. But if it matters to some people, you may have to, find a different color or change the color yourself. So here I am about to make a left, and that's just so much nicer than before. That's the thing that I really like about it. It has such a kind of just a more planted feel. The car is already low and has a short wheelbase, so it's already going to have these attributes to it. So it's just kind of nice to kind of add to that. Here's a green light. I'm going to make a right turn here, just so we get a sense of what that's like. So there's that, the body roll is a lot less. It's really nice. I don't get thrown around all over the place. It's just a fun experience. Highly recommend the product, folks. If you have any recommendations for lower control arms, it's an '89 CRX SI. If you have any recommendations, please feel free to mention them in the comments, and we'll talk to you later. Alrighty, thanks a lot, folks. This is kind of cool.